The morning hours are the most precious hours of your entire day. They're not just any hours, they're the golden hours. They're the hours when your mind is fresh, when your willpower is strongest, when the world is quiet, and the distractions are minimal. These are the hours when you can work on yourself, when you can invest in your future, when you can plant the seeds that will grow into the harvest of your dreams. But here's what most people do. They waste these precious hours. They hit the snooze button once, twice, 3 times. They stumble out of bed at the last possible moment, rush through their morning routine, grab a cup of coffee, and run out the door feeling stressed and overwhelmed before their day has even begun. And then they wonder why their life isn't working the way they want it to work. Let me ask you a question. If someone offered you the most valuable real estate in the world for free, would you take it? Of course you would. Well, that's exactly what the early morning hours are, the most valuable real estate in your day. And it's available to you every single morning, absolutely free. The question is, are you going to claim it, or are you going to let it slip away? The morning is when champions are made. It's when leaders are forged. It's when ordinary people do the extraordinary things that separate them from the crowd. While the world sleeps, the successful are awake, working on their craft, developing their skills, planning their day, and preparing for victory. I remember reading about a study that was done on successful executives. They wanted to know what these high achievers had in common. Do you know what they found? The vast majority of them were early risers. They weren't just getting up early because they had to. They were getting up early because they wanted to. They understood something that most people don't understand. They understood that how you start your day determines how you live your life. Think about it this way. Every morning when you wake up, you have a choice to make. You can either take control of your day, or you can let your day take control of you. You can either be proactive, or you can be reactive. You can either be the author of your own story, or you can let circumstances write your story for you. When you wake up early, you're making a statement. You're saying, I'm in charge here. I'm not going to let the demands of the world dictate how I spend my time. I'm going to carve out time for what matters most. And what matters most? Your personal development, your health, your relationships, your dreams, your future. But let me be clear about something. Waking up early isn't just about getting up earlier. It's about what you do with those extra hours. If you wake up early just to watch television or scroll through social media, you've missed the point entirely. The early morning hours are for investing in yourself. They're for doing the things that unsuccessful people won't do. So you can have the things that unsuccessful people will never have. So what should you do during these precious morning hours? Let me give you some ideas. You could read, you could exercise, you could meditate, you could plan your day. You could work on a personal project, you could learn a new skill, you could write in a journal. You could spend quiet time thinking and reflecting. The possibilities are endless. But the key is that whatever you do, it should be something that moves you closer to your goals and dreams. Reading is one of the most powerful things you can do in the morning. While others are still sleeping, you could be feeding your mind with the wisdom of the ages. You could be learning from the greatest thinkers, leaders, and achievers in history. You could be expanding your knowledge, developing new perspectives, and discovering new possibilities. Remember, formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. Exercise is another powerful morning activity. When you start your day with physical activity, you're not just improving your health, you're building discipline, increasing your energy, and setting a tone of accomplishment that will carry you through the entire day. You're proving to yourself that you can do difficult things, and that confidence will spill over into every other area of your life. Planning your day is crucial. Most people stumble through their day without any clear direction or purpose. They react to whatever comes their way, and then they wonder why they feel scattered and unproductive. But when you take time in the morning to plan your day, you're taking control. You're deciding what's important and what's not. You're setting priorities and making sure that your time and energy are invested in the activities that will give you the greatest return. But here's the thing about developing the habit of waking up early. It's not easy, especially at first. Your body is going to resist. Your mind is going to make excuses. You're going to hear that little voice saying, just 5 more minutes, or you can start tomorrow, or it's too cold, or you didn't get enough sleep. But this is where character is built. This is where successful people separate themselves from unsuccessful people. This is where you decide who you really are. Let me tell you about the snooze button. The snooze button might be one of the most dangerous inventions in modern history. Not because it will hurt you physically, but because of what it does to your character. Every time you hit the snooze button, you're training yourself to break promises to yourself. You're teaching yourself that your word doesn't matter, that your commitments are negotiable, that you can't be trusted to do what you say you're going to do. And if you can't trust yourself to keep a simple commitment like getting up when you said you would, how can you trust yourself to keep the bigger commitments? How can you trust yourself to follow through on your business plans, your fitness goals, your relationship promises, or your dreams? The snooze button is a character killer, and successful people have learned to eliminate it from their lives. So how do you become an early riser? How do you develop this life-changing habit? First, you have to start with your why. You have to have a compelling reason to get up early. If your why isn't strong enough, you'll never stick with it. Your desire to sleep will always be stronger than your desire to get up. But if you have a powerful reason, a dream you're working toward, a goal you're trying to achieve, a person you're trying to become, then getting up early becomes not just something you should do, but something you must do. Second, you have to prepare the night before. Success in the morning starts the night before. You have to go to bed early enough to get adequate rest. You have to prepare your clothes, your materials, your environment. You have to eliminate the barriers and excuses that your tired morning mind will try to use to keep you in bed. Third, you have to start gradually. Don't try to go from waking up at 8 o'clock to waking up at 5 o'clock overnight. That's a recipe for failure. Instead, start by waking up 15 minutes earlier, then 30 minutes, then 45 minutes. Give your body time to adjust. Make it easy on yourself in the beginning so you can build the habit and gain momentum. Fourth, you have to have a plan for what you're going to do once you're up. If you don't have a clear plan, you'll waste the time and you'll convince yourself that getting up early isn't worth it. But if you have a specific, meaningful activity plan, something that you're excited about, something that will move you closer to your goals, then you'll have a reason to jump out of bed. Now, let me share with you some of the incredible benefits you'll experience when you make early rising a consistent habit. First, you'll have more time. This might seem obvious, but it's profound. Time is the most valuable resource you have, and when you wake up early, you're literally creating more time in your day. You're adding hours to your life that you can invest in the things that matter most. Second, you'll have better focus and concentration. Your mind is freshest in the morning. You haven't been bombarded with information, decisions, and distractions yet. This is when you can do your most important work, when you can think most clearly, when you can be most creative and productive. Third, you'll feel more accomplished and confident. There's something powerful about accomplishing meaningful tasks before most people even wake up. It gives you a sense of momentum and achievement that carries you through the entire day. You start your day as a winner, and that energy is contagious. Fourth, you'll have better health. Early risers tend to exercise more regularly, eat better, and have less stress. They have time to prepare healthy meals instead of grabbing whatever's convenient. They have time to exercise instead of making excuses. They start their day calmly instead of frantically. Fifth, you'll have more control over your schedule. When you wake up early, you're less likely to be rushed and reactive. You have time to plan, to prepare, to think through your decisions. You're more likely to be proactive instead of reactive. And that makes all the difference in the quality of your life. But perhaps the most important benefit of waking up early is this: it develops your discipline and self-control. Every morning when you get up early, you're proving to yourself that you can do difficult things. You're building the muscle of self-discipline that you'll need to achieve any significant goal in life. You're becoming the kind of person who keeps commitments, who follows through on promises, who does what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. And that's really what success is all about: becoming the kind of person who does what successful people do, even when you don't feel like doing it. Success isn't about feeling motivated all the time. Motivation comes and goes. Success is about developing habits and disciplines that carry you forward, even when motivation is nowhere to be found. I want to tell you about the compound effect of waking up early. If you wake up just 1 hour earlier every day, that's 7 hours per week. That's 30 hours per month. That's 365 hours per year. That's more than 9 full work weeks of extra time every year. Imagine what you could accomplish with an extra 9 weeks every year. You could read 50 books. You could start a business. You could learn a new language. You get in the best shape of your life. You could develop a new skill that doubles your income. But here's the beautiful thing about the compound effect. It doesn't just add up, it multiplies. The books you read will give you ideas that lead to opportunities. The exercise will give you energy that makes you more productive. The planning will help you make better decisions that save you time and money. The skills you develop will open doors that lead to even greater opportunities. One good habit creates a positive spiral that lifts every area of your life. The opposite is also true. When you consistently oversleep and start your day in a rushed reactive mode, you create a negative spiral. You feel behind before you even start. You make poor decisions because you don't have time to think things through. You skip exercise because you're running late. You eat unhealthy food because you don't have time to prepare something nutritious. You feel stressed and overwhelmed, and that stress affects your relationships, your work, and your health. So you see, the choice to wake up early or to sleep in isn't just about one morning. It's about the trajectory of your entire life. It's about whether you're going to live proactively or reactively. It's about whether you're going to take control of your time and energy or let circumstances control you. Now, I know some of you are thinking, but I'm not a morning person. I'm a night owl. I do my best work late at night. Let me challenge that thinking for a moment. While it's true that people have different natural rhythms, most people who say they're not morning people have never really tried to become morning people. They've never given their body and mind time to adjust to an earlier schedule. They've never experienced the incredible benefits that come from claiming those precious morning hours. And even if you do some of your best creative work late at night, that doesn't mean you can't also benefit from waking up early. The morning hours don't have to be used for the same type of work you do at night. You can use the morning for exercise, reading, planning, or reflection. You can use the morning to prepare for the creative work you'll do later in the day. Remember, successful people don't just do one thing well. They develop multiple positive habits that work together to create a life of excellence. They might wake up early to exercise and plan their day, and then do their creative work later when their creative energy is highest. They don't use their natural preferences as excuses. They find ways to maximize their productivity and effectiveness throughout the entire day. Let me share with you a story that illustrates the power of waking up early. There was a man who worked in a factory, earning just enough to get by. He had big dreams but felt trapped by his circumstances. He had no extra money to invest, no special skills, and no connections. But he had one thing: time. He decided to wake up 2 hours earlier every morning and use that time to study and develop himself. Every morning while his co-workers were still sleeping, he was reading books about business, studying successful people, and learning new skills. He did this for years, consistently, without fail. Slowly but surely, he began to see opportunities that others missed. He started a small side business that grew into a larger business. He developed expertise that made him valuable in the marketplace. Eventually, he was able to leave the factory and become financially independent. What made the difference? It wasn't luck. It wasn't a special talent. It wasn't family connections or a large inheritance. It was the simple decision to wake up early and invest those precious morning hours in his future. While others were sleeping, he was growing. While others were dreaming, he was building. While others were wishing for a better life, he was creating one. That's the power of the early morning hours. They give ordinary people the opportunity to do extraordinary things. They level the playing field. They provide a way for anyone, regardless of their current circumstances, to invest in their future and create the life they want to live. But let me warn you about something. When you start waking up early and investing in yourself, some people around you might not understand. They might think you're crazy for getting up so early. They might try to discourage you or make fun of your new habit. They might say things like, life's too short not to sleep in, or you're working too hard, or you need to learn to relax. Don't let these people derail you from your path. Remember, they're speaking from their own level of understanding and commitment. They don't see what you see. They don't want what you want. They're comfortable with mediocrity, but you're not. They're willing to settle for less than their potential, but you're not. They're content to drift through life, but you're determined to design your life. This is one of the prices of success. Sometimes you have to walk alone. Sometimes you have to do things that others don't understand. Sometimes you have to make sacrifices that others aren't willing to make. But remember this, the view from the top is worth the climb. The life you can create by developing positive habits like early rising is worth every moment of discomfort or criticism you might face along the way. And speaking of discomfort, let's talk about that for a moment. Waking up early is going to be uncomfortable at first. Your body is going to resist. Your mind is going to make excuses. You're going to feel tired and groggy for the first few weeks. This is normal and it's temporary. Your body will adjust, but only if you're consistent. This is where most people fail. They try waking up early for a few days, feel uncomfortable, and then quit. They convince themselves that it's not working or that they're not cut out for it. But discomfort is not a sign that something is wrong. It's a sign that something is changing. It's a sign that you're growing, that you're pushing beyond your comfort zone, that you're becoming a different person. Remember, everything you want in life is outside your comfort zone. If success were comfortable, everyone would be successful. If developing positive habits were easy, everyone would have them. The fact that waking up early is challenging is exactly why it's so valuable. It separates the committed from the uncommitted, the disciplined from the undisciplined, the successful from the unsuccessful. So embrace the discomfort. Welcome it as a sign that you're moving in the right direction. Use it as fuel to keep going. Remember that every successful person has felt the same discomfort you're feeling, and they pushed through it to get to where they are today. Let me give you some practical strategies for making early rising easier and more sustainable. First, create a compelling morning routine. Don't just wake up early with no plan. Have specific, meaningful activities that you're excited about. Maybe you start with 10 minutes of meditation, then 30 minutes of reading, then 30 minutes of exercise, then 30 minutes of planning your day. Make it a routine that energizes and inspires you. Second, prepare your environment the night before. Lay out your workout clothes. Prepare your coffee. Set out the book you're going to read. Eliminate any barriers that might give your tired morning mind an excuse to stay in bed. Third, use technology to your advantage. Set your alarm across the room so you have to get out of bed to turn it off. Use a sunrise alarm clock that gradually increases the light to wake you up more naturally. Use apps that track your sleep and wake you up during your light asleep phase. Fourth, find an accountability partner. Tell someone about your commitment to wake up early and ask them to check in with you. Better yet, find someone who wants to develop the same habit and become accountability partners for each other. Fifth, track your progress. Keep a simple log of when you wake up and what you accomplished during your morning routine. Seeing your progress in black and white will motivate you to keep going and to keep you identify patterns and areas for improvement. Sixth, be patient with yourself. Remember that it takes time to develop a new habit. Research suggests it takes anywhere from 21 to 66 days to form a new habit, depending on the complexity of the behavior and the individual. Don't expect perfection from day one. Expect progress, not perfection. Seventh, focus on going to bed earlier, not just waking up earlier. You can't consistently wake up early if you're not getting enough sleep. Most adults need 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. If you want to wake up at 5 a.m., you need to be in bed by 10 p.m. at the latest. Now, let me address some of the common excuses people make for not waking up early, because I guarantee you've thought of at least a few of these yourself. The first excuse is, I don't have time to go to bed earlier. Really, you don't have time to go to bed earlier, but you have time to watch television, scroll through social media, or engage in other non-productive activities in the evening. The truth is, you make time for what's important to you. If waking up early and investing in your future is important to you, you'll find a way to get to bed earlier. The second excuse is, I need my sleep. Of course you need sleep. Adequate sleep is crucial for your health and performance. But here's the question. Are you really getting quality sleep when you stay up late watching television or staring at screens? Are you really more rested when you sleep in until the last possible moment and then rush through your morning in a state of stress and panic? Quality sleep is about more than just quantity. It's about having a consistent schedule and creating conditions that allow for deep, restorative rest. The third excuse is, I'll just be tired all day. Yes, you might be tired for the first few weeks as your body adjusts to a new schedule. But once you adapt, you'll actually have more energy throughout the day. You'll start your day with a sense of accomplishment and momentum that carries you forward. You'll be more alert and focused because you've had time to wake up gradually instead of jumping out of bed and rushing out the door. The fourth excuse is, I don't know what I would do with the extra time. This excuse reveals a lack of imagination and ambition. If you can't think of anything meaningful to do with extra time, then you need to spend some time thinking about your goals and dreams. What do you want to achieve in your life? What skills do you want to develop? What knowledge do you want to gain? What projects do you want to complete? The possibilities are endless if you're willing to think beyond your current limitations. The fifth excuse is, it won't make that much difference. This excuse reveals a lack of understanding about the compound effect. 1 hour per day might not seem like much, but over time it adds up to hundreds of hours per year. And it's not just about the time, it's about the momentum, the discipline, the sense of control, and the positive habits that flow from starting your day intentionally. Let me tell you what I've observed after years of studying successful people. The most successful people I know are not necessarily the most talented or the most intelligent. They're not always the ones with the best connections or the most resources. But they do have one thing in common: they have developed the discipline to do what unsuccessful people won't do. They have learned to manage their time, their energy, and their attention in ways that create compounding benefits over time. And one of the most common habits among these successful people is early rising. They understand that the morning hours are precious and they protect them fiercely. They don't let the demands of the world dictate how they start their day. They take control of their mornings, and as a result, they take control of their lives. This is what I want for you. I want you to take control of your mornings. I want you to experience the incredible sense of empowerment that comes from starting each day on your own terms. I want you to discover what you're capable of achieving when you consistently invest time in your personal development. I want you to break free from the reactive, rushed, stressful way that most people start their day, and instead create a morning routine that energizes, inspires, and prepares you for success. But here's the thing: I can't want it more than you want it. I can't develop the discipline for you. I can't create the habits for you. I can give you information, the strategies, and the inspiration, but you have to take action. You have to make the decision. You have to do the work. And the work starts tomorrow morning, not next week, not next month, not when conditions are perfect, tomorrow morning. Because here's what I've learned: the perfect time never comes. There will always be excuses, always be reasons to wait, always be something that makes it inconvenient to start. But successful people don't wait for perfect conditions. They create success under imperfect conditions. So tomorrow morning, when that alarm goes off, you have a choice to make. You can hit the snooze button and continue living the same life you've always lived, or you can get up and start creating the life you've always dreamed of. You can choose comfort, or you can choose growth. You can choose to drift, or you can choose to design. You can choose to be reactive, or you can choose to be proactive. The choice is yours, and it's a choice you'll make every single morning for the rest of your life. But here's the beautiful thing: once you start making the right choice consistently, it becomes easier and easier. What seems impossible at first becomes automatic over time. What requires tremendous willpower in the beginning becomes a natural part of who you are. And that's really what we're talking about here: becoming the person you were meant to become. You see, waking up early isn't really about the morning hours themselves. It's about developing the character, the discipline, and the habits that successful people have. It's about proving to yourself that you can do difficult things, that you can keep commitments to yourself, that you can change and grow and become better than you are today. Every morning when you choose to get up early, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. You're investing in your future self. You're building the foundation upon which all your other successes will be built. Because success isn't just about what you do, it's about who you become in the process of doing it. And the person you become through the discipline of